guys just completely right?
Yeah, I mean, we had enough chances to win the game, but at the same point, we can't start in the manner that we did and expect to give away goals. And again, we've been talking about behaviours and what we want out of the players. And again, it's inconsistent performance. We can't start for the first 20 minutes and go off plan and then expect to win the game. But that being said, they did fantastic to get back into the game, to find their feet again, to create chances, and then we don't take them. So that's a difference. That's a difference. At the end of the day, you've got to take those chances. It changes the game. It changes the outlook of the game. I think we had a couple in the back end of that first half that we probably should have taken. And then if we take one of those, we go in at 1-1, mentality changes, and you get a lift. They've got to come out again, and it changes the whole game. So, look, again, very pleasing that they created enough chances, but I'm disappointed in the start that they made to the game.
Seems to be a bit of a common theme, giving up some cheap goals. How frustrating is it, you as a coach, and what can you do to change that?
Very frustrating. Very frustrating. It's standards. It's standards of what we do. And when the guys are on it, they do those standards. But it's about doing it every week. And at the moment, we are doing it for 45 minutes, 60 minutes, but not for 95 minutes. And that's the frustrating bit, because in patches you see, and that's what I'm talking about, the patches that you see, there's a lot of positive stuff, but it's not for the full game. And that's something where, sometimes our inexperience shows within the group. And then, our leaders have to do extra work. And I think, at times we've got to be a bit smarter with what we do and how we do it. And that comes down to their mentality.
So what exactly is injury to Brandon O'Neill, and how bad is it?
I think he's done a pretty bad AC joint, so that could be him for quite a while, but we'll have to wait and see what happens after his scan.
That could potentially be the season. How tough will it be to replace him?
Yeah, look, I think it's going to be tough because the squad's thin as it is. You can see that the guys that are coming off the bench, I thought Gio Colli did fantastic tonight, but it's his third appearance or fourth appearance, so, I've got full faith that he can come in and do the job. But that's where we're at the moment, where the young guys are actually having to take their opportunities and perform. And they did well. I thought all the guys that came off the bench did, again, extremely well.
Does Brandon have a history of injury to that shoulder?
Not that I'm aware of. But look, I think he actually landed his whole body weight behind it. So having done that myself, I know how painful that can be. And, no matter what you do, that's always going to be a sore one.
Yeah, and obviously it was a late tackle. Did you see anything more sinister behind that, or is that just something that was unlucky the way it landed?
Look, if I went through every single challenge in the game, we'd be here all night. For me, it's when you're down the bottom, things don't fall for you, and that's including the decisions. They get a touch and they go down and they get it, and you've got someone who's hugging Bruno, trying to take his shirt off him, and then he gets a yellow card. So, look, that's part and parcel of it. But those little ones aren't falling for us at the moment.
That was going to be my next question about Bruno and this specifically that incident. What do you do as a coach when you see him getting so frustrated and handled all the time?
Look, it's down to the referees. What can we do? At the end of the day, if they're seeing it fit that the guy's got his arms all around him and he's got to hold him off, and then the guy from the front kicks him and he still gets away from it, and then there's no foul, I don't understand how that isn't a foul. And then you go down the opposite end and it's a little nudge and it's a foul. So should we tell Bruno to fall over? Maybe if he falls over, he gets it. But then, look, it's not something that I can answer. It's something that has got to be put to the referees, and you can understand his frustration because it happens every game. He's good at holding up the ball, and they are all over him. So, where does the foul begin?
Have you had a chat to the referees? Is there something you can talk to about that?
Look, we've tried talking to the referees, but they've got to see it the way they see it. That's not an issue for me. That's down to the referee coaches and their assessors and actually what the referees see on the day. So that's not got anything to do with me.
Thanks for that.
So.
Okay, Nick, do you want to jump in?
Just a couple that you mentioned, and you don't want to go into each individual tackle foul decision. The one in midfield that seemed, and it certainly looked like a foul, and it led to their goal. Was another one that you find a bit mystifying?
Yeah, well, Callum's going to tackle him, and he gets pushed away from the ball. So I don't know how that's not interfering with play. Whether he gets there or not, he's still pushed off the ball and not able to affect the player on the ball. So, in the end, again, what's a foul? So, and then 2 seconds later, their guy gets a nudge from behind and drops and gets the foul. So, look, they're the little ones that aren't going for us at the moment because, to be honest, when the player's going to tackle someone and someone else nudges him off his path, then he can't affect the ball. So, that's something that's continually happening to us at the moment, and it's easy to do it to the guys that are down the bottom.
Thanks, mate. With Brandon, are you able or allowed to go looking for an injury replacement if it is a long term?
The question is who's available, and at this point, it would be a player that would probably not have played, and it would be something that we have to look into. But that's probably the issue that where do we find that player unless it's someone on loan or something like that.
Sure. And just one more. I mean, obviously the feeling in the change room is not going to be good. But how do you get them up?
Yeah, look, that's a good question. I think they can see how good they can be, and that's probably the biggest frustrating. I think they're just as frustrated as I am, and they understand where they go wrong, and it is sometimes a lack of experience and a lack of seniority in the group. But look, I think that's something that they've got to learn to deal with. That's something that they've got to learn to bounce back. That's the beauty of football, that you can put it right the next week. The mentality of the group has got to be that we let it go and we go on to the next one and prove how good we are in the next game.
Thanks, mate. Speak to you next week.
So.
Okay, we'll go to the room, Ash.
Sorry, I just want to bring up as well, while you were playing over East, you did kind of have a bit of a successful run over there. Now you've come home and it's kind of been more reversed. What do you think has been the change in that?
Again, it's the same inconsistency in performance. We have uplifts in performance, and again, it's about stringing the performance for 90 minutes or 95 minutes rather than, look, I think second half came out, got on top, didn't take our chances again, and then, I think we've got to learn to relax a little bit. I think we're a little bit uptight. You can tell there's a group of guys that want to do well, and they're just a little bit uptight, and in front of goal we're not relaxed at the moment because we know how important the goals are. But again, it's about the inconsistency of our performance for the full 90.
And has someone been, I guess, assigned a role of taking on what Callum used to be doing? Because it's clear that he's been missed during these games.
Who's that, Aaron? Oh, look, I thought Josh stepped in and did very, very well. He's a young guy who's got a bright future, and he's just added another notch to his belt to come in. And he was a bit out of sorts in the first half, but I think the whole team were to begin with the game, and then he grew as the game went on, and I thought he was very good towards the back end.
And is there a reason why Stanikovic isn't being
Look, it's about performance in training. You've got to perform, and you've got to be putting in the performances every day. It can't just be, again, that's something that we keep talking about, is the consistency of a performance. You can't just turn up for half of it. You've got to go all out all the time.
And so Blue currently are sitting last on the table. Do you think they can progress from that? And if so, what needs to be changed? I mean, aside from the consistency, it's obviously taking their chances and...
Yep, that is the consistency. That is the consistency of playing at our best the whole time. And when that happens, you get the rubber of the green. The little ones do fall for you. So that's what it's about. That's in the end the issue, because in every game, we've had chances, we've had good chunks of possession, we've had good periods of play, and then again it's the individual errors, it's the lack of concentration that are costing us, and it's something that we've got to keep improving on. And again, it goes back to, at times, the inexperience of the group.
I want to draw on that, sorry, just inexperience. You did have a lot of experienced players on there today. So I guess performance-wise, would you rate the first or second half better?
There were patches in both. When you look at our back line, Josh Rawlins is a young guy who's just come in. Anthony Burke this is his first season in the A-League. So a lot of those guys have only played 10, 12 games in the A-League. Josh Rawlins isn't a centre-back, so he's been put in there, and that's where the inexperience comes. We've still got Cal Timmins, who's now starting to grow legs and do really well. Pacific, it's his first year in the A-League as well, so another inexperienced player. And that then shows within the group. So if someone's having an off day, that inexperience, people tend to learn and lean on their experience.
I just want to, last question for me. Bruno, Keo, Savino, everyone who's kind of, I guess, up front, should be expecting more from these players? Like, there's a lot of missed opportunities that they do have that experience behind them, but they should be scoring those goals.
Yeah, of course, they know that though. It's not like they don't know that. And that's part and parcel of football. You've got to be able to bounce back from that. Adrian, I felt he's still a bit off the pace a little bit, and he's still coming back from his injury. I thought Andy did fantastic again, and Bruno was good as well. And look, Passey's another one. Those three guys, Adrian, Bruno, and Adrian, Andy, and Pass have all just come back from injury. So they had the 30 minutes off the bench the other day, and it was a big jump tonight, but I thought they did okay.
Hugh, any questions for Richie?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you must be pleased that, I know the game's not played on paper, but in all the key stats, you've lost the game. Yet, again, it's just the millimetres. I mean, Bruno's shot 9 times out of 10, that hits the bar, the post, and goes in. I mean, how frustrating can that be as a coach?
It's definitely frustrating because, again, we've done that in a few games, where we've actually had the majority of the possession, we've had the majority of the chances, or we've had the better chances of the game, and we haven't taken them, or, and then we've let simple goals in. So I think that's part of the growth of the team, that's part of the growth of the group. But I feel like the frustration is growing not only within the group, but I think that pressure then leads to the missed chances. So it's about now refreshing, taking a backward step, and realising that we've got 12 games to actually show everyone the ability that the squad has.
Okay, obviously with Brandon's injury, which we're not 100% sure what the extent of, do you think that Collie is going to be the ready-made replacement there?
At the moment, Mitch Oxborough's injured, so really we were a bit thin in that area at the moment. So we've always said that we wanted to give young guys a go, and they definitely have got their chance this year. It's been pleasing to see that so many of those guys have stepped up and done really well. I thought, Gio in every game he's played has done, very well and held himself to a good and high standard. So look, if he keeps going the way he's going, he deserves a spot. So look, that's part and parcel of us having a longer term picture of trying to get these young guys in and around it and build a squad off those guys in years to come. So they definitely are getting the minutes and the experience that they need. And now it's about allowing time for those guys to grow as players, which will bode well for the squad in the future.
Yep, and with the quick turnaround of the game on Tuesday, not much chance to reassess to any great extent.
No, it'll be a lot of video and where we can improve, and a lot of it is stuff we already know. So the big thing is that the guys already know. It's about the behaviours of doing it over and over again, and that's the big one.